everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. This is going to be a reading for Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising positions for Virgo for the period of August 9 to August 15. All right, let's get started here and see what messages we have for Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising for their upcoming week. And if this reading resonates for you, leave me a message or comment below letting me know. And don't forget to hit that like button. Okay, let's get started here for Virgo and see what messages we have for the week. August 9 to the 15th. Okay, Virgo. Oops. All right. Okay, Virgo, we've got the Seven of Wands in reverse on the bottom of the deck. Doesn't look like you're interested in any sort of battles in the external world. That is not where you're going to resonate this week. It looks like where you're going to be sort of the benefit for you is going to lie in making an alignment or a decision regarding how to proceed on something that you've been working on creating, Virgo. You've been working on creating something, but you've recently sort of experienced a separation that has got you questioning why. Why am I feeling separation between someone or something involved in this thing that you're heavily working on that isn't looking like it's going to get to a place of completion? So it's almost like there's a factor here involving some conflict that has held up a project that you're working on. And it's like at this point, the idea that you need to bring things together and align your energies is the holdup. So you're needing to align things, which could involve making a choice about who's on the team or who are the significant players here with you as you are building this new vision that doesn't seem to be moving with flow. That's the issue, is that there's a lack of flow. This King of Rods energy that you possess right now, Virgo, where you want to connect your vision to the external world through change and through making some decisions about this thing that you're developing, is being held up by the fact that your energies aren't really in alignment right now due to some conflict. There's a conflict that is involving this experience, this project, this enterprise, whatever it is that you're working on right now that you can't seem to get traction right now, Virgo. You're having a hard time getting things moving. And like I said when we started, it's almost like you're not interested in working with the external world to solve this. It's like you're not willing to have a sort of battle of the wits between you and whoever this is, right? You're not, there is no communication. You don't want to communicate with whoever caused this conflict in the external world. You're not up for it. You don't want to talk to them. You just want to sort of see this resolve itself, but it's not. You're finding that, you've recently sort of shifted gears. And I think this gear shift has been a challenge for you because you've sort of realized that you can't count on someone here that you really thought you could. There was someone here with you, might be a Libra. This card is reflective of Libra. Someone that you thought you could trust, and you can't. They're out. They're not playing. And there's a conflict between you two as a result, and you're having a hard time sort of healing from this. You're not accepting this. You're not seeing the necessity of this. You're seeing it as sort of a knife in the heart, but you're not seeing the bigger picture of why this may have happened. And it's interesting. I think what's going to come up for you, Virgo, as you reflect on this is you're going to start to see some patterns. You're going to start to see patterns in the past where similar situations have happened, and that you might have a new way of looking at this soon. I think you're going to start to see these situations less about conflict and separation, and more just about, maybe people having different visions. So your vision and this person's vision were different, and so they went their own way, but now you're looking at patterns where others have done the same thing. And it's like, I think you're starting to see that it's not you, it's not like they're separating from you. It's just that they want their own vision, and maybe standing in your shadow, they can't have that. They can't have that with you around, Virgo. So that's the interesting thing. I think people are needing to go their own way. So you're looking for new collaborators right now. Right now you're like, okay, well, who's going to help me connect this? Who's going to be on my team? And the people around you are sort of like, I don't think Virgo realizes that this is something that they may need to do on their own. That potentially the best partner you could have right now is your intuition, your spirit, your higher self, your connection to the divine. That's where you need to be. And it's interesting, Virgo, because it's almost like you're like, I am going to conquer this issue the way I know how, which is through facing challenges in the physical world and creating change and being confident and just giving it everything I have. Okay, this is very Taurus energy of you. And so it's interesting, Virgo. I think what's going on here for you is you're wanting to sort of use your skills and abilities to make this happen. And you're finding that it's not working. You're finding that you keep coming up against obstacles or conflict with other people. You're noticing patterns that this has happened before. And emotionally, you're sort of like, I can't take another knife in the heart. I just can't. And so you're trying to look around to see, well, who can I partner up with? Who can I work with? Who can help me connect the vision I have to the external world? And, I think the answer is here for you is that it's almost like you've got to release yourself from these opposing forces. Okay, it's almost like you have to stop looping around the same old ideas, Virgo. You need a new idea. You need some inspiration from spirit. You need to tap into your intuition to see what the next step is, because going round and round isn't getting you anywhere. And it's like you're trying to do things the same old way that you always have, but things are not in alignment. You're having an issue of alignment here. Your energy is not aligned with whatever you're trying to do. There is some misalignment present here. And I'm going to just clarify with another deck, because I'm wondering if this Two of Pentacles here is you sort of weighing out the pros and cons and making a decision on which way to go. Let's have a look at this Two of Pentacles. Judgment and the Devil. Interesting. So the Two of Pentacles could very well be reflected as the opposition between these two cards. That one is literally the true judgment coming from your higher self, the guidance, the truth, the outcome, the verdict. And then on the other side, we see the Devil, which is a time where there is illusions and there are misinterpretations and things that are guiding you, but they're illusions. They're playing into fear. They're playing into ego. They're playing into things that aren't real. And so to see, not real in the sense of they're illusions. The Devil card makes me think that you're escaping reality somehow, whereas the Judgment card is like, this is the truth. Here is the verdict. Here is the final say-so about this situation. It's almost like the outcome of cause and effect is in the Judgment card, whereas the Devil card, it's almost like a cycle of constantly trying to feed that ego. And so it's interesting, Virgo, Very interesting to pull those two cards as the clarifiers for the Two of Pentacles, where you have opposing forces. Perhaps the opposing forces are between your higher self and your ego. And you've got to decide which way to go. If you go the route of the higher self and you look at the judgment of the situation, you're going to have to be prepared for whatever that judgment is. And if the judgment is that, you know, no one wronged you here, they just needed to go their own way because they can't stand next to you in your shadow forever, then it's a question of, did it hurt your ego? Did you feel betrayed because someone is now becoming a version of competition to you, and now there could be more competition out there? It's very interesting. And you know, with the Chariot, it really is a time to make a choice about direction. Are you going to go with the ego and satisfy the devil and pursue the illusionary aspects of life where you're never satiated? Or are you going to pursue the judgment of the truth, so that you can really understand where you stand in a situation and receive the outcome, the fair outcome, the outcome of cause and effect? And that outcome could literally be that, you know, people can't stand in your shadow because then they don't exist. That is sort of what I'm picking up on for you here, Virgo, that this heartbreak could have just come from someone needing to have their own moment. And maybe you feel that it's somehow creating competition for you, and that you're able to see more examples of this in your past. When you look at the past, you can see other examples that you keep saying, well, it's this happening all over again. And it's like, is it for real? Or is it maybe a misunderstanding? I feel like it's a misunderstanding. I feel like maybe Virgo has a misunderstanding here that's showing them something about what drives them. And it's interesting. Is it what's driving you, Virgo? What's driving you, right? Are you truly driven by purpose and truth, or are you being driven by sort of the illusions of the ego, saying that, you know, we need certain things in order to be, right? Instead of we are, and everything that we embody, we attract, right? Instead of chasing. I always think of the devil as like encouraging you to chase things. Whereas when I see the Judgment card, it really makes me feel like if you're in flow, then the judgment you receive will be in alignment with your truth, right? So let's just pull one more clarifier here for Virgo to understand this Three of Swords in reverse that's driving this reading. And we see the Five of Wands in reverse again. Interesting. So you've got the Five of Wands in reverse twice, Virgo, which really says that, you know, you're leveling up and that you need to pay attention to your spiritual side, but you don't see it that way. You don't see it that way. You're in a situation where it's almost like you think this is the illusion. It's interesting. 2 times the Five of Wands, but in reverse, which really says to me that your attention is really required to be on the more intuitive and spiritual side of things. What makes you feel like you embrace life fully, instead of worrying about competition and thinking that there are forces against you. It's almost like that's not where your effort is needed right now. Your effort and attention is needed on your source of inspiration. What is driving your sort of next phase? You're leveling up. You're leveling up, Virgo, and this is really saying to me like you're tapping into that fiery wand energy that is helping you to create something. It's really helping you create something that is sort of being born out of spirit and not ego. And it's like, that could be what's at odds here. I think, Virgo, you know, don't shoot the messenger, but I think you're used to doing stuff and having the public world just go crazy for it. And now suddenly, that isn't what's happening. You're trying to get something off the ground and you're finding that you're being met with obstacle and conflict more than harmony. Okay? So you need to reestablish that harmony by paying attention to spirit. So Virgos are on a mission this week to reconnect with their higher self. Connecting with your higher self is going to release you from this sort of creative block, if you will. It's almost like you're having a creative block, and you, in order to be released of it, you sort of need to tap into spirit, tapping into intuition and spirit, and to see where that guidance takes you. Oh, we got 3 cards popping out. As I said, where does that guidance take you? Well, it looks like we've got truth, delight, and happiness. So my goodness, Virgo, these are the things to chase after. The truth of the matter is you are leveling up, and spirit is trying to sort of blow you in the direction of the truth. And although it feels unfamiliar and it feels like you're not able to get things off the ground, you need to focus on your happiness and your ability to create the feeling of delight in the world. That is what your truth here is, I think, with this 5 of Swords that we see twice. You're leveling up because it's a spiritual requirement almost for you to create something that the world will find delightful. And that in turn is going to create abundance of happiness for you, Virgo. You've got to switch lenses here. I think instead of looking at the world in a way that says the truth is I have many competitors and many people and many obstacles to fight, is to see that the truth really just lies in you finding what makes you happy, tapping into your inspiration, what brings you delight, what brings you happiness, and where's your truth. That is the key here. Thinking about others in terms of the conflict and separation that is surrounding is almost like, I feel, buying into what the ego wants you to do. The ego wants you to keep struggling and fighting, and it wants you to force it. It wants you to sort of force the universe to bend, and that isn't happening. I think you used to be able to create that dynamic. I think, you know, you have a very strong ability to see in front of you what your heart and your spirit desire. But I think right now that is a huge challenge for you. Right now it's a huge challenge for you because the universe is like, you know what, you need to tap into the truth, Virgo, and you're still playing it like it's the same old story, and it's not. This is interesting. I think the truth is starting to reveal itself to you, Virgo, and you're starting to see that at the end of the day, all that's really important is to create this happy delight vibe. You know, I was reading something the other day that said that the whole point of being here is to create heaven on earth. That is our purpose. Our purpose in coming to earth is to manipulate the energy so that we can create heaven on earth. And so it's almost like that's your truth, Virgo. And your quest is to create happiness and delight for the outside world. But you're at odds because your energy is not aligned. Right now, you're focused too much on the obstacles. You're focusing on the obstacles and not the happiness. You're focusing on the conflict and separation of unaligned energies versus what lies ahead, the truth of what your purpose is. I think Virgo is going to start to pull away from the external world in order to discover this. And that's where you're going to find the truth, by pulling away from the external world and sort of allowing the cause and effect to just happen. Oh my God, right? Yeah, it's terrifying to just let things flow and let the chips fall where they may, Virgo. And know that regardless of what happens, you've got the King of Rods and the King of Pentacles here. You are a powerhouse of seeing change happen and generating that change. So I'm not worried about that. I think you're going to generate whatever change it is that you want to see. But it's almost like you need to see that the truth see what the truth is. What is the true expression of your soul's desire? What is the true expression of your spirit's will? That's the question. Wow. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. If this reading has resonated for you and you would like a personal reading, my email is in the description below. And as always, thank you so much for liking, subscribing, and watching. And we'll see you again very soon for another reading. Lots of love and light, my friends.